it's just a wonderful way of getting people to have memories of various things and see what happens. We've got some lovely memories.
Because we used to go out for the day picnic, it was a big thing.
They used to have a dog, Mappy, and he was lovely, but he used to always be outside.
In the garden.
Yeah, and they used to leave him tied up.
Volunteers have been crucial to this project. We have a good staff team. It's well staffed, this project, but the volunteers have undertaken our oral history interviews. We have freelancers who have delivered our workshops, but that is supported by volunteers assisting in those sessions, and then we've also had volunteers running their own workshops.
They were creative writing, basically life writing and reminiscence workshops. And we worked with a lot of different things, with objects, with photographs, with historical things they might have had in the family, medals or jewellery. We worked with memories of school, mentors that they'd had, covered a lot of different areas, the work they'd done and so forth.
It was on childhood experiences. It was a variety of different subjects, and it focused you. You know, you're trying to write these things, and you remember them. It's there somewhere in the memory. Yeah.
We took the pieces of writing that had been done and decided to make an anthology, and I wasn't quite sure how to structure it, and then I thought it might be interesting to actually make it into a kind of workbook, so that anybody reading, instead of just reading other people's stories, could actually stop and think about the exercise that had brought those pieces up and think about their own life in that context.
All life is change. We own nothing. A poem, a story, a fable is dead until you have read it, heard it, and then, in the passing on, it lives. I enjoyed the reading the poem, and we all went away quite nice little club.
Yes, I mean, in many societies, older people do get a chance to tell their stories to people. You know, they're respected and their stories are honoured.
They've done extraordinary things, like they've made arrangements for a group of elderly people to go to the local studies just to look at the Indian soldiers, so that we had a talk, and we went to the local studies in the library, and we had the manager of the library, local studies, doing a display about the Indian soldiers. And you've got to remember, all these people are BME people, black and minority ethnic people. So really what he was talking to them about, they have a direct reference. It's the appearance and grandparents they're talking about. And a lot of these BME people didn't realise that much about what their grandparents or their parents did. They didn't realise they came up.
Clues about the first Chinese in Eastbourne can be found from old newspaper adverts, trade directories and the oral history of Chinese elders and other local Eastbourne people. You will hear memories in Cantonese, Mandarin, Hakka and English. 1970年4月4號 Eastbourne Herald Newspaper 由 Christine Robertson 所寫嘅專欄介紹本地兩間外賣店係筷子樓同埋利華樓。
It started, first of all, as a traditional workshop on a Sunday afternoon. We had about 4 or 5 students. We had lots of older people coming around and having a look and seeing what these students were doing. And later on, we brought up historical material relating to Eastbourne and the Chinese community. Suddenly, these older people came in and actually started talking about old adverts, for example, that we found. The students actually learned from the elders, because for the 4 students, they hadn't really heard some of the stories before about coming to England, leaving Hong Kong. So I think the students involved were a bit surprised as to some of the stories of the hardship that their grandparents' generation had to go through.
appreciate that there are reminiscence projects that kind of come and go, and probably have some, you know, benefits for the people who are participating in them. But what I'm really hopeful with this project is actually the artefacts that have been created and the pictures that have been digitised. That's going to be a kind of legacy for the project.
The value of doing this is immense. For those who take part, it's incredibly rewarding to see participants coming in each week, looking forward to a session, having been thinking about a topic or a subject, you know, before the next week's session, and then coming in and sharing that with a group of who've then become friends, who've then become a support. It's been really important to people's lives.
I think personal history can be a starting point for people, and it's fundamental to everything, isn't it, really, to know who you are and where you've come from.
Community health is something that comes from sense of identity and self-esteem, not just not being abused of, or so it's it's shared with all of these different organisations in the community, and so this is a very complete project from their point of view, because it targeted different age ranges. It supported younger people to engage with older people and vice versa and understand each other, and it supported heritage organisations to understand how to reach groups that they normally wouldn't. And it also helped in terms of people developing skills and building on the skills and knowledge they had before, so through all of the volunteering and the training for the volunteers and so on. So I've felt that it's a really complete project, and it's really inspiring.